What do you need improvement in?
Just want to go through and win.
What is the purpose of overthinking? You're taking care of your loved one. That's how you can increase your sales.
Hello, everybody. This is Farron.
This is Caleb Lenore, and welcome to another episode of Conversations with the Homecare Guyz.
Caleb, man, our audience is in for a treat today, brother.
Yes, we have a special treat. We have not only one of our friends, but Ferris, I want you to introduce this person here.
So we have the Dr. Eukeethia Barnes from Fresh Start Business Services. She's on with us today. So Eukeethia, welcome to the Homecare Guyz
welcome
show.
to the show, Eukeethia.
Thank you. Thank
Dr.
you.
Oh my gosh! Look, Eukeethia, look, I know you're coming out of tax season, so Lord knows, oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine how busy you've been. And I really appreciate you actually making some time to come on the show as well today.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Guys, well, Eukeethia actually, she's an entrepreneur, actually runs several businesses, and not just as an entrepreneur. One thing as Eukeethia is known not only in the financial industry and the tax industry, but she's just known locally for helping out entrepreneurs and also people that are just aspiring to do better in life as well. So that's my little snippet on Eukeethia. But Eukeethia, tell our audience a little bit about yourself and how you got started on your entrepreneurial journey.
Yes.
Oh, goodness. I'm going to make this quick because I could be here all day telling you about that. Okay. So I'm going to just get down to the bullet points. Mm-hmm. However, I am Dr. Eukeethia Barnes, and I'm elated to be here today. And I do, I've been an entrepreneur for over 10 years at this point. I even started while I was in corporate America. However, one thing I can tell you is that if you work, it's perfectly fine. Don't allow people to tell you that working something is wrong with that. That's one thing I actually tell people, so I hear a lot of people saying you couldn't work and be an entrepreneur. Well, I did it for some years. Wow. However, I'm thankful that I did start that entrepreneur journey because I was actually injured, and guess what? I was let go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was injured and I was let go at that job. And I won't call that name, but that's okay. Correct. That was the best thing to happen to me, guys. I haven't worked for anyone else since. As I said, I would never go back to corporate America, and I didn't. Wow. And Ferris, you guys, let me just tell you a little something. I'm going to let you in on a little secret.
Let us in.
I know that you're the first one to hear it. You're the first one to hear it as of right now. I know that you said Fresh Start, business. Well, guess what I've done? I've actually rebranded, and it's actually called Fresh Start Enterprise right now because we have so many entities up under Fresh Start.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's a big thing.
Oh my God. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I've been seeing the different tentacles, actually. I've been catching you on Facebook and IG. I've been seeing the tentacles, and I'm not surprised because you've been impacting so many lives, and I've seen your impact in several industries as well. So this is awesome right here. So let's kind of walk back to your corporate journey, because I think a lot of times people really don't they don't understand that when you're working in a corporation, you can be an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is a person that works in the organization, but they treat it like their business, and they're there to go through and learn something. So kind of tell me some of the things that while you were working in corporate America, what are some things that you learned to go through and jumpstart your business?
Oh my goodness. When you work for a corporation, it teaches you how to run a corporation. So let me tell you the issue. The issue is that a lot of people actually have businesses and they treat them like hobbies. Wow. So therefore, they don't necessarily set their businesses up in regards to the way a corporation should be set up. Dream big. Stop dreaming so small. No, set your business up as a corporation, because one day it's going to be that corporation. Now, you may not do the legal entities as such as when you first start out. Correct. And I'll go through that with someone who wants to speak with me about it. But you set it up as a corporation, such as having, you want to have automations, you actually want to have processes and procedures, you want to have all of these things, your paperwork done completely, you want to build a team around you, even if you're not a lawyer, if you're not, specializing in these things, you want to build that team around you so that you can actually form that corporation in the future. And that's extremely important. Okay. One of the other things is, of course, because I was a contract specialist, I was in the financial arena already. So that gave me the ability and leverage. Okay. And gave me the leverage to actually have the ability to go in and actually assist others within the financial arena. And not only that, but also understand the importance of receiving contracts as an entrepreneur. People don't tap into that as they should. And it's a very untapped into industry, which we have to certainly start getting into.
Well, I'm gonna jump right there because when you said you're a contract specialist, I remember when I was in the Air Force. I was a cop in the Air Force, and when I was looking at changing careers, everyone always told me, "Hey, you want to work in contracting. You want to work in contracting," because one thing they always said, contracting, that regardless if you're in the military or in corporate America, this is something that's always in high demand because, just like you said, a lot of people do not tap into contracts, how to write a contract properly, how to bid on the contract properly. And so, is that something that you did in corporate America?
That was something that I did in corporate America along with other things, but that was something that I certainly did. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. And it also helped me transition into the position in which I'm in right now. It gave me a step up. I had the ability to look at it from both sides. And that's very important because not many people have the ability to do that.
So I would like to ask, I know you talk about, Fresh Start Enterprises right now. We were the first ones to hear the great news. Congratulations. But what are some of your entities that you pretty much are like spearheading or you pretty much run? What are some of the businesses that you run out of Fresh Start?
Absolutely. So I'm going to give you a few right now. Some of them are going to be literally dropped as they, we're working on them. So I try to put them out into the public as they actually come out, but you're going to start seeing when I get quiet, please take that as me doing something really big.
Come on.
So you're working.
I'm working.
You get quiet, you're working.
Yeah. If everyone that knows me at this point, they know that. They're like, what are you up to? What are you doing? Well, just wait to find out. But some of the entities that I actually have right now, Fresh Start Business, Fresh Start Business Service, Fresh Start Tax Academy, Fresh Start Business and Software Solutions, Fresh Start Credit Power. And also one of the ones that I'm actually going to tell you about right now that hasn't necessarily launched, and I'm going to tell you about it because it's completely near and dear to me. It's called Eukeethia Excel and Cares. That's my nonprofit.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
And so it's very near and dear to me. And you'll see why when we actually start to move. But we're about to come through like some, like what is it? I think it's the drum line in the band. We're about to come through like the drum line.
I love it. I love it. And that's one thing is I like that. So you are within the industry and you're having complementary services within that industry as well. So you're getting really laser focused and really leaning out the process to say, hey, so what actually made you kind of think about the other financial solutions? Like, was it something that your customers, they said that they wanted and you just saw demand there? Like, how did you choose to go kind of linear approach on your solutions?
Let me tell you exactly how it happened. Okay. And one other thing we have is, and two other things we have, I'm sorry, and it's going to help me to answer this question. But the two other things is basically we're doing a tech company as well. And I'm also the co-owner of Lindio Atlanta.
Yes, I saw that. I saw
co-owner what again?
Lindio Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll go into detail about that. But what happened is that I first started Fresh Start Business. I started Fresh Start. That's what I did. And then what happened, it started to grow so quickly. I had to start separating entities. I had to start putting them in separate entities because I was serving two different customers. One thing I do on a quarterly basis, I sit down and I analyze. Okay. And I need to analyze because I need to see what's working, what's not working. And, you have to go through business and do that. So I started to see that when I say regular, that means everyday clients. Okay. They were getting mixed up with my business customers and they didn't need the same thing.
Correct.
They didn't want to see the same thing. So we have to cater to our clients and give them what they need. So that's when I started to split. Okay. I started to split. That's where the split started. Now, when I actually did Fresh Start Business and Academy and Software Solutions, this is where I noticed that some people needed additional things. And so, I have an entire team behind me. And let me just be clear. I am Eukeethia B, Fresh Start. None of that would be possible without them.
Wow.
I mean, it would not be. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, the IT portion, the automations, the IT, you see websites being built, logos, we're doing everything you see. And so I was like, the IT world, that's great. Yeah. Okay. So they come to me because they trust me. And not only that is because I also believe in helping entrepreneurs. So I'm not trying to just literally, it's not all about gain, monetary gain, but I do charge.
Exactly.
I didn't say that.
Come on, it's not free.
There's nothing free. But what I'm trying to do is also help you I offer several packages to where you can step up. You can start where you are. I come to you, I meet you where you are. It's just like in a therapy session. I meet you where you are and then I help you to elevate. Wow. And so it's extremely important.
So I want to dive into a little bit. We're going to dive in and dive in and dive in because you have a lot of businesses that you're pretty that you have. And so, what was your first business that you started? If I guess with Fresh Start or even before then, like like what has been like your first business that you started, and then I would like to dive in more about your Fresh Start businesses as well.
Stylish events. Okay. That was actually my first business.
I remember. Oh my gosh.
That, right?
Yes.
You were events, like you were, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. And honestly, I've actually done events for Talia Waheed. I mean, all sorts of people.
Yes.
And I loved it. Honestly, I did. It was very time consuming. And I felt as if I wanted to give back more. Yes. Don't get me wrong. That's a passion. And honestly, it's something that's going to come back, but in a different way.
Correct.
A little later. But at the same time, I wanted to impact people more.
Wow. I'm going to jump right there because you ran a successful event planning or organization. And so with that being said, like, was it difficult to make a decision to go through and pivot to a whole, because you went from these are two separate industries. Right. Was it difficult to make a decision as an entrepreneur, or was it a decision that had to be made because the demand was there?
Well, okay, so let me tell you this, and I'm going to get a little personal with you guys, and I'm going to get a little personal because you guys are going to start seeing this come out anyway, okay? So you guys are getting some of the first here, right? Like so, hey, and I'm happy to share it with you more than anyone, and because we have that relationship. So basically, what happened is that and if you notice, my Eukeethia B brand, we focus a lot on mental health, on physical health, on so many different things. And there's a reason, there's always a story behind everything, especially when it comes to me, okay? Correct. But one of the things that I want to hone in on is that mental health capacity. So for some reason, one day I woke up and I just started having anxiety. I started having panic attacks. And I was like, what in the world is going on? My mother literally had to take off and come with me, my family and I for 2 weeks. She had to stay with us. And it was something because I couldn't really care for my children. I couldn't. And now, mind you, I've been in mental health also in that position that I was telling you corporate. I've been in that position for I've worked in mental health for quite some time. Correct. Even coming from my hometown. Yes. So with that being said, I've always been a mental health advocate. So what happened is that I figured once I actually started, and I'm pro therapist. I'm pro therapy and advocate. Okay. Yeah. Let me just be honest, and I'm gonna tell everybody. And I don't want people. I want people to stop looking at it as if it's a bad thing. Yes. It's not a bad thing. All right. So what happened is that I had to go through and I had to unpack my suitcase, and I had to understand what was going on. And so what was going on is that these events also was along with some other contributing factors that I'll discuss later. But the events, it was very demanding. I mean, you had so many people. I had so many people contacting me, and you got to understand when people want these events and they're paying this kind of money, you have to be right there on it. So I started to sit back and I had to kind of just unpack, and I had to look and say, hey, what would be the next thing? Well, you have to know that my family has several tax businesses. Correct. And I've also worked in the industry before. So I was like, well, how about I put a spin on it? Not only will I actually become a tax professional on my own and not work just for my family, and they encouraged me to do so. Okay. Yes. Let's be clear. But what I would do is that I'll become a service bureau. So I'm going to help other people start their businesses as well. So which now I have offices all around the United States.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. I am so proud. And Eukeethia, that's one thing as an entrepreneur, like, we all have stories of where we overcame situations. And I love that you overcame it, because I think a lot of times people may see that, okay, when situations come up, oh my gosh, that's a sign for me to back down. That's a sign for me to retreat. That's a sign for me to go through and not ask for help. Right. That's a sign that God's just telling me this is not for me. But I love that you went through and involved your mom, who is a loving woman, going through and getting her to come in. And that speaks a lot about you. It speaks volume about your integrity as well, for your mom to go through and take some time to go through and say, I'm going to take care of my daughter. I'm going to make sure she's good, because I believe in her dream so much. And this is not where she's going to end up. She's going to go through and accelerate her career. And you get some time to go through and slow down to take care of Eukeethia. And the bounce back has been amazing. Like, it's been, I've been on several of your Zooms. We did conferences, conference call. I've met several of your team members. And I'm like, it speaks volume to the leader. It speaks volume to the integrity, to the courage of you as a leader to go through and lead such a fantastic, skillful group of people as well.
Thank you. And honestly, I've written several books, and one of my most favorite book is called Balance: Entrepreneurship and Mental Health.
Oh, I need that book right there.
Yeah, we actually went through and we pulled everything off because I wanted to, once this relaunch happens, I wanted to actually do some different things. So it'll be back on Amazon soon. Okay. But it's called Balance: Entrepreneurship and Mental Health. It's really important. It's extremely important because one thing, for instance, this tax, and I teach my students all the time, you got to have balance. Right. This height of the tax season, because I don't say a tax season because I do taxes all year long. Correct. But the height of the tax season could have really took some people out of here because, as you know, there's a lot of things going on, a lot of changes, and it's very heavy on us. But balance, which is why, people will call and you can't get me sometimes. And most people, I'm not accessible to everybody either.
Exactly.
But so balance, entrepreneurship, and mental health, I encourage everyone to, when you get a chance, to look that up. It's very important, the mental health aspect.
So another thing, so with Fresh Start Academy, you're actually teaching individuals how to own their own tax, their tax business.
Okay, yes, that's a really good question. So Fresh Start Academy, you have Fresh Start Academy, and then you actually have Fresh Start Tax Academy. Okay. So you have Fresh Start Tax Academy, and then you have Fresh Start Business and Software Solutions. Okay. Let me tell you how those differ, because not everyone wants to actually come through. I had to notice, this is when I went through and did one of my analyzations, okay? Mm-hmm. All right, so not everyone wants to come through and actually have and be taught. Everyone has that. Some of them are EAs. Mm-hmm. Some of them have been in the business for 20, 30 years. Mm-hmm. So therefore, I give them the ability to buy my software, but they always have my support. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so the support thing is really, really big. People don't understand how big that is. Now, on the other hand, I also have Fresh Start Tax Academy. This is where I teach. I bring other people in to teach. We actually started every year in July. And so I have people, not like new people, never done taxes before, come in. And I also have people who've been doing taxes 30 and 40 years or 20 and 30 years come in, and they're learning as well. So we literally range from here to here. We scale the entire platform.
Wow.
Eukeethia, so you have a SaaS company.
I'm sorry?
So you have a SaaS company, a software as a service?
So this is software as solution. So basically what it is like the software for the tax industry. So yes, they can actually purchase software from me.
So first of all, I want our audience to go through and kind of, and Zach, let's get back on this middle camera for a second. I want our audience to really go through and kind of get what you just said. My thing is, and Eukeethia, coming from a small town, which is in the middle Georgia area, Milledgeville, Georgia.
Yes.
Actually having an organization that expands not just Georgia, but other states as well, and eventually internationally if it's not already there. But building an organization that's on a solid foundation and having several tentacles, what she has done is she has made her business recession proof. She's made her business. She's not just depending on one thing to go through and actually provide for her family. And the one thing that when you said as a software as a solution, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so freaking smart, because now Eukeethia, while you're out, you do that sale, that job one time and continue to provide great services. Individuals continue to use your service every month, because you put the work in. Like building that software is not just an easy thing. Like, okay, I'm just going to wake up and roll over and say, I got a software, because you had to go through and make sure it was proven. Right. You had to go through and make sure that it was something that was going to be a solution to someone, but you did it. And now the accolades that's coming from it is like amazing. So I just wanted to go through and just kind of point that out, because I didn't want that just to brush over, because when I heard that, I'm like, doggone it, this girl is super smart. Right. I mean, this lady is super smart.
I have to tell you really quickly, with the software, what happens is that we are able to actually go in and buy a software from a top layer. We didn't write that software. Okay. I'm going to always be 100 with you. Okay. We didn't write that software, but I'm literally right up here with them, and we actually have meetings, which is why people don't understand. You see me here, you see me there. You have no idea. It's tiresome, but we have to meet. We have to talk about these things. So these softwares, different softwares, are written by other people, and we take them. However, we can actually do it the way we want to have it done. And this is how I'm able to actually turn it over into Fresh Start software.
I love it. Right. And then just to get at the table, at certain tables, it does take a level of, because no one's just not going to give their software or bring people to the table. Like, people just don't partner with just random people. Right. So it's still actually, it speaks a lot to the volume of the business that you've grown and built as well.
Yes.
Well, I want to talk about legacy. You know, I know you have some beautiful daughters. And I wanted to know, like, you know, how important is legacy for you? You know, you have all of these things going on for your businesses, and, you know, you're in their lives. How is legacy?
Legacy, my goodness. Where do I start? First and foremost, the song, they ask me what I do and who I do it for. I do it for my babies.
Yes.
These 12 and 14-hour days, the other day, a 20-hour day.
Wow.
I literally woke up at 3:30 that morning. I didn't go to bed till probably like 1. Yeah. So
Wow.
1 a.m. So I do it for them. You have to have a reason. Okay. And so that legacy is my reason. So I say that because, I have one daughter, as you guys have probably seen. I'm very vocal when it comes to education and things like that about them. I try to keep them in the back end, but when it comes to their education and things that they've done, I'm going to share that. And, I have one daughter who's actually wanted to be a software engineer. She's looking at Georgia Tech, things like that. They're coming out to her. She's only a junior. She's already starting to receive cores and everything already for her graduation. So that's very important to me. But let me tell you what I did do. The thing is that I always want them to follow their own path. However, I always want to ensure that they're set up to be okay with or without me. And so some of the things that I've actually done to put in place behind that, of course, generational wealth is extremely important.
Right.
Okay. I see that you guys had Joe on here the other day, Joseph Foreman, and, he speaks about insurance and things of that nature. He tells you about all of these different things. It's very important to make sure you have that in place. Right. I also have different businesses set up with them. And what happens is that we run it through an IRA, but it's ran by the trust. And that's their business. And so what they don't know is that they invest with me a whole lot.
Hold on. Slow it down, Eukeethia. Don't you try to rush over this real quick. We've had several conversations about this. So I want everybody to pull out your pen and paper. And we're gonna walk this thing just a little bit slower. Because I want to go through and make sure that we understand what she just said to set up her daughters for legacy, to build on her legacy and their legacies for their children as well. So you built the foundation in a business. Yes.
Several of them.
Several businesses.
And some that you guys don't even know about, that you won't hear about because you don't even know that I'm okay.
We ain't go there. That's for the next conversation.
I'm gonna tell someone the right time right now.
So how, because this is gonna go through and help someone when it comes to this. Maybe a young business owner out there, somebody who has a business, someone who wants to set up their family for the next level. Right. I know you mentioned a trust. Did you mention a trust or LLC? Trust. You can do both.
It was both. It's all. Let me tell you what I'm doing. We're actually burying seven layers deep here, and 7 layers deep is differently than actually setting up my children, but it's kind of in the same realm. But go ahead. I'm going to let you ask your question.
Exactly. So what you have done, from my understanding, was created a business that an opportunity for your children to go through and work in your business as well and start their investment early. So
but they don't work in the business per se.
Or passively work in the business to go through and start their investments early, their IRAs or whatever the investment tools that you and they have chosen as well. So now at 14, 15 years old, they've already started their retirement planning early on. So they get a jump start. So they don't have to wait till they graduate from college and start when they're 25 investing at another company. We started this at 14. So that means interest and compound interest is happening. If I'm wrong, clarify that.
So basically, to put it in a nutshell, by the time they actually graduate from college, they'll already be millionaires. And so what we're going to do, we're actually going to take their, and again, millionaires, we want to just create wealth. Okay. It's wealth. It's not just about the money. Correct. But we want to take the money in which they earn through school, because let me be clear. Let me be very clear. The key to success in school is not only are you actually going here to get their education, but you're also going to go here and they're going to pay for your education. Not only pay for your education, but you're going to get additional money, okay? Because you're going to get those scholarships that are left out there on the table.
Exactly.
We're going to get that. And then we're going to actually put it into another area in which you're going to then invest that as well. You understand? And so now my children don't necessarily know that they're investing with me in real estate deals and things like this. They don't know that. And let me tell you why they don't know that. Because sometimes you can actually ruin a child. And this is my perception, okay? You can ruin a child because they think they have that to fall back on. I don't want you to think you have anything to fall back on like that. Correct. I want you to know that I'm always here, or, you're okay. But if you have that much to fall back on, what could happen is that it could cause you to detour from your dreams. I want my children to live. I want them to live for them, not for me. Correct. But I want them to always be okay. I want their children to always be okay, which is why it's ran by a trust. So therefore, I have different stipulations on it as to when they can touch it.
Exactly.
I like that.
That is so responsible as a parent. And these are things that, and we can't even fault our parents, because my thing is our parents did not know this stuff. Or some of our parents, not every parent, but some parents, I know our mom did not know this. She is a hard worker. She was a hard worker. She was an educator for over 30 years, raised 6 children single-handedly. She positioned us to be where we are today. Right. And we thank her for that. And how we go through and pay homage is we have to go through and grow. We just can't go through and actually just say, well, Mom, you know what? Thank you. And we start taking steps back in our legacy and our heritage. We step it forward to go through and make sure we pave a even straighter way for our children. And that's one thing that you've done as well. You're like, okay, well, hey, I'm going to help pave this way. And the expectation is they're going to pass it on to their generations as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's another thing when Eukeethia Excel and Cares. See, people don't know that yet. I don't want to just do it for my children. I want to do it for others as well. And so that's when you're going to see that nonprofit come into place. It's not just about giving toys, or you see me actually feeding families for Thanksgiving or anything. Yeah, that's a part of it, because I want to do those things for the community. But it goes much deeper. And we're going to make sure we teach financial literacy to our children, so we won't have this issue anymore. We see an issue, we fix the issue. And this is why you see me going home a lot as well. And you're going to see even more of that, me going back to my hometown, because this is where I'm from. But I'm a part of a lot of different things where I'm located now. I'm in the community, but at the same time, I hold several chair seats, but at the same time, we got to make sure that we are part of the solution.
Exactly. And so I was going to get into with the financial literacy and financial responsibility. Like a lot of this information that you're giving to us, because we are, I guess we're a little bit more financial savvy than some others. That could be just like it could be speaking in Arabic, like to some. So how do you pretty much kind of communicate with people that don't know a lot of financial literacy? How do you communicate with that? Like how is that connection? Because, either with credit or either with what you just said about budgeting or, starting to trust, like how does that communication work with some of your customers?
Well, that's a great question. So, what you're going to see is that what I was doing, I had the ability to just talk to people individually. They would come to me, they would talk to me individually. And I was like, yeah, I don't have time. I'm only one person. So this is another way that I look at everything each quarter. I'm looking at what's pulling me. And so I'm like, okay, so now we have to develop this on a larger scale so that we can reach more people. Okay. Because I'm only one person and I can't just talk to everybody individually. Right. So what we're going to do, I'm building out a program, and you're going to see it. I'm building out a program, whereas not only that, but they can start as early as 3 and 4. You understand? Learning about these things. We're going to make sure our babies and our teens, they know how to write checks, and we're going to meet people where they are. Yes. And they're going to have the ability to actually go in and actually get what they need. So therefore, you won't have to just speak with me, but you have the ability to say, I can skip that part. Let me go over here to this part. So I want to reach the community there. And so with that being said, I also, for instance, that's one of the things I'll speak at Essence in July. And so that's one of the things that I'm really big on, teaching our younger people, our younger generations about, financial aspects. And so I want to be clear that it's very difficult to reach everyone where they are with that. Okay. So that's why I built this campaign out, or I am building this campaign out, so that I can reach everyone and they have the ability to go in and grab what they need. It's like a toolbox. Everyone don't know how to necessarily work a backhoe. You understand? But a lot of people knows how to work a hammer. So if you continue to actually build up, you're going to build until you become accustomed to maybe you can actually work that backhoe one day.
Makes sense.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Eukeethia. Now this right here, this has been an amazing conversation, and I do want to, if you have 10 minutes after the conversation, I want to go through, we do an after show. And for those that are tuning in, we're going to an after show where we're going to ask Eukeethia a few more questions and dive deeper. We're going to ask for a little bit more secret sauce as well that you all can go through and actually make life even better. I know I have several conversations with Eukeethia, especially when it comes to children. It's so important to go through and set up a legacy for your children. Now, again, like regardless if you're an entrepreneur, working a job, 9 to 5, corporate person, whatever, it's so important to go through and take that step. That's the responsible thing to do, is to have the conversation. Right. So, Eukeethia, what I would like to do before we end this, podcast, any questions you may have, because I want to go through.
Well, I actually, because it is tax season, I do want to say this real quick. And you're the tax expert, because I know a lot of our people can be like, "Oh, they got Dr. Barnes on." I wonder, we need to ask some questions. What are some tax benefits, or what are some tax savings that a lot of our audience could use right now?
Hold up. Don't answer that yet.
Don't
Back.
answer it.
Don't answer it. That's gonna be for the after show. So if you want to know, come to the after show.
Okay.
So we'll save it for the after show. So we got we can put a little cliffhanger right here if you really want to know.
Right.
But I want to go through before we end this show to the after show. I want you to go through and give a parting piece of advice for somebody who's coming up, who see you as an amazing entrepreneur, as an amazing community leader, but may think that, you know what, that's just Eukeethia. She's always been able to go through and actually lead from the front. That's just impossible for me and my family. I would like for you to go through and leave a parting piece of advice for them, but also at the end, tell us how people can reach out to you to actually get more information about the services that you offer as well.
Absolutely. So my long-lasting advice, and anyone can tell you, is to jump. It's faith over fear. And honestly, if you can't actually understand what you possess, you're gonna need people around you. Make sure your circle around you are people who will push you when you can't be pushed. That's just like, I'm very vocal about who I am. So that's just like having people to pray for you when you can't pray for yourself. But make sure you actually have that piece around you, or those people, to where you can literally, they will push you. And so don't be afraid of failure. It's inevitable. You're going to fail at something. It's okay. Learn from it, get back up and go. Jump. Okay. And that's it. And so basically, as far as people reaching out to me, I have a link page, and I'm going to send it to you, Faris, so that people could, because it's so long. Yes. I'm going to send it to you. And if you would, I'll let you just post it. Okay. And that link page has everything about me. I mean, it literally has so much about me. You know, I love blogging. I love writing. I love giving all that information. So with that being said, I'm going to give you guys the ability to just post it. And so therefore they have the ability to reach out to me in any way possible.
That'd be great.
Well, there you have it, from the mouth of the CEO, the founder, the visionary of Fresh Start Enterprise, guys. Enterprise. Yes. Oh my gosh, guys. This is just the beginning. She's already nationwide, and this is just, it's mind blowing of the lives that she's already impacted and the lives that will be impacted as well. So again, if you're interested in more information about her services, please make sure you go through and click the link below. You'll be able to go through and connect with her, go through and follow her on all social media channels. That'll be in the link as well. And make sure you go through and tune in each week to the Homecare Guyz. So we'll be continuously bringing content that's going to go through and educate you in your process to make sure you just live a better life.
Exactly. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you can. Go to Conversations with the Homecare Guyz. Hit that subscribe button. We give episodes every Tuesdays and Thursdays, and this was an amazing episode, Dr. Barnes. We appreciate you, and we just thank you for what you're doing for the community, as well as educating our family and our families on the importance of financial literacy.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
It was our pleasure.